don't have time to connect all the dots. That's all we can tell them. So what about a moratorium on immigration to allow all the dots?
I'd be interested to hear more from you, at another time, at more length, how that would help those things.
Well, first of all,
with regard to collecting the dots and the databases, that has nothing to do with immigrants or immigration.
Well, because they can't keep track of the visas and things like that.
This person was a Nigerian citizen. He had traveled to England.
I thought it had
nothing to do with
immigration. But a visa was denied to him from England. But we had given him. Well, he was coming as a visa, so who would answer? Maybe my misunderstanding is the visas. But again, if all of this.
I would think that there are people in this room who have friends from overseas who would want to come for a visit, or businesses.
And again, over immigration, overall, and I think that again, they can come in through any borders. Again, our immigration officers, I think we have to admit, are overburdened. So it does make it easier. Our borders are very porous right now. And I think as a security measure, we have to secure our borders. And I just think one of the ways to do that would be to because I am concerned about terrorists coming across. I believe the terrorists came across through Canada on 9/11 and things like that. So I do think that we need to secure our borders. And one of the ways that we could do that is clear down on immigration, just to allow them to clear up the backlog. We all know that when we get overburdened, overworked, you're not going to do your job.
Yeah, the people who crossed the border from Canada weren't immigrants. So then
how did they get
well, they crossed the border. But we have millions of workers crossing the border into Canada each day and from Canada each day.
So you don't think that...
That's how they make their living. They make their living in Canada.
I understand that. That's how they... I have friends that cross Mexico and like that. But what I'm saying is if we are not so tied up with backlogs, with immigration, and we cut it down, maybe then we could put more more officers on immigration.
I certainly agree that we need better border control. We need better accounting of both immigrants and visitors when they are in the United States. We've got to keep better track of them, no question about that. I guess I don't see how stopping all immigration this year would help us.
I just said so long ago it gets down to 5%, so it's not an isolationist view. But again, I think they're taking those numbers.
They're absolutely taking them.
Alexander Sussman, I'm just going to read it because it's a good follow-up to that one. Your position on immigration reform.
Well, actually, I guess, I began to talk about it just now. There obviously is a very long answer, and I'll try to be very brief about this. The United States of America has a long immigration history. On balance, it is good. On balance, you and I and many of us are here because of it. On balance, it helps our economy, and indeed even helps our security. I mean, I forget how many tens of thousands of recent immigrants are serving in our armed forces right now. That's my point. Let me talk about the legal part first. Our country depends on immigration, economically, socially, culturally. The problem is, how do you distinguish between legal and illegal? That is the challenge. So, okay.
What about
if they drive across the border from Canada, what we need is enforcement. What we need is enforcement, and we need better record keeping in this country, and meaningful quotas. Meaningful quotas. Now, as it is now, whether it's H-1B or other things, we don't have a good idea of how many jobs cannot be filled and need to be filled by specialized workers from overseas. There are some. There are some.
My question was about illegal immigrants. How you are planning to secure borders first? And what about amnesty? What is your position? This was a question.
Okay. It has to be done as part of a complete package. That's the point. You can't this year say, we're going to deal with college education of students who came last year, and next year we're going to deal with the southern border, the year after that we're going to deal with the northern border. It has to be a comprehensive package that looks at H-1B visas, that it looks at deportation policies, that looks at border crossings in airports and north and south. And in fact, I heard somebody over here say, and you have to deal with employers. That's true. Right now we have a big help wanted sign at each border and at each airport. It's hard to, it's no mystery why people come into this country, legally or illegally, when they see that there's a job waiting for them. So you certainly have to include employers as part of this equation, but it can't be done piecemeal. It can't be done just by stricter border crossing rules in Mexico or stricter border crossing rules.
Chris Botash, lucky you.
This is related to what Anna has to the healthcare bill. The question was, would you vote for the voting of the healthcare bill that passed in the Senate? And would you vote?
As the healthcare bill passed the Senate, and I said earlier, the similarities to the House bill are greater than the differences, but the differences are significant. The healthcare bill, as it passed the Senate, would perform one giant belly flop. It wouldn't work. And so, in fact, it will not be an option to vote, I don't believe, on the Senate bill. Now, the Senate bill with modifications could succeed. And if that comes to the House with appropriate modifications, yes, I'm going to vote.
Yeah, but if you don't vote on the Senate version, the bill will have to go back to the Senate, and you don't have a filibuster-proof majority right now anymore. So how is it going to happen?
We're going to try to look at their option and jam it down our throat.
So, I think I continue to hold out hope that the Senate will realize that it's a majority body, not a supermajority body, and that